iTiS School of Worship Fellowship. Today is Monday, the 19th of August, 2024. Being Monday means we do a question and answer session. Question and answers about life, about God, about faith, religion, prophecy, atheism, you name it, whatever subject or whatever question you have about any of those subjects, we are happy to attempt. Not because we have all the answers, but because we believe we can say something to provoke your thinking, and then of course revelation happens even outside this meeting through God Himself. So if you have a question for us and you're listening to this, there's a number on your screen somewhere. Just send a WhatsApp message. We'll record an audio and send it to you. Otherwise, we upload whatever we do here onto YouTube. Our channel is iTiS School of Worship Fellowship. If you go to YouTube and search for that, you'll be able to see everything we've been doing since 2015 when we first uploaded the first video. Yeah, so we have a question from the usual suspects, one of our own here, by the names of Peter C. Peter?
Please. When we say omuntu ategeera, what do we mean? When we say Isaiah understands, what does it mean for a person to be an understanding person? Omuntu ategeera. That is number one. Number two, how can we train our children first from home, and then next, I am a teacher at school? How can we train our children to think? Is it? Yeah, to think. Can we train people to think? And if we can, how can we train our children? And as a teacher, how can I train my students to think?
Think critically, I must add. Or is that a different thing altogether?
Yeah, the critical thinking, but at least to begin with, to think.
All right. Okay. Isaiah, I don't like using that statement. Tategera, ategera. I'm sorry for the non-Luganda speakers. I don't think the meaning has been done justice with the English, but we'll try. Yeah. What do you typically mean, Isaiah? You like using that statement? It calls it understanding, but I think it's much more than just understanding.
Yeah, what I normally mean by understanding is constant consciousness that minds different sides of a matter. To understand is to be consistently conscious while minding all sides or other sides of the matter. To understand is not standing over, it is standing under. And what that means, you have to make sure that all your feelers are on as far as the matter in contention or in subject is concerned. Now, if you want to appreciate understanding, let me use the example of knowing. Knowing is regular. There is no effort in knowing. You just need your eyes and sometimes your ears. And the role of your ears in knowing is hearing. So when it comes to understanding, you need your eyes, but not these eyes, these physical eyes. You need those instinctual or insight eyes. You need to have an insight. You don't need sight. To know, you need sight, but to understand, you need insight. To know, you need hearing, but to understand, you need listening. So when someone asks you, do you understand? Don't tell them what you know. They know that you know. They are asking you, do you understand what you know? Because many of us know many things, but understand a few of the many things that we know. So to understand is always being conscious about what you know. So that there is no way you can claim to understand everything that you know, because understanding is tasking, and it is not for everyone. For instance, 75%, if not 80% of the pupils from primary 1 or kindergarten to senior 6, 75%, if not 80% of those do not respond correctly to their examination questions because they understand. They respond correctly and therefore pass their exams from one class to another, because they know and they can memorize that knowledge and reproduce the same on a question paper. I mean, 80% of those. So they just know. They can remember, they can memorize, they can reproduce correctly, following the principles of the examiner. Now, unfortunately, the same applies to their teachers. %90 of all our teachers do not teach us to understand. They do a journalist work of informing us. They are passing on knowledge. The role of interpreting that knowledge and therefore applying it to different spheres of life is a responsibility of understanding. And I am not sure we have teachers of understanding. But we need them. We need them. The only teacher that I know of understanding is nowhere to be seen, but approaches each and every one of us, and that teacher is called experience. that is born from events. There are things you will never understand until in a certain way and in a certain manner happen to you. Then your journey of understanding what you have always known will start at that event, which will birth your experience. So if experience is a teacher, is not a teacher of knowledge. It is a teacher of understanding. I want to pause there so that you guys come in.
Petero, sight versus insight, hearing versus listening. For me, that's the summary I would give. Analyzing versus regurgitation. I think we just lost a teacher of understanding last week, not so. In Tamale. Anyway, Peter, what are your thoughts so far?
I'm following intently.
The right question, moderator, to ask Seruvide is, do you understand?
Have you listened? Have you understood?
I do not doubt him on the issue of listening. He's a very good listener. But do you understand? Because since it is Monday, isn't it? Let us try reading this verse in Acts chapter 8. I am opening my Bible here. Chapter 8. Verse, I'm going to start from verse 26. The Bible
But an angel of the Lord
yes.
said to Philip, rise and go towards the south to the road that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza. This is a desert road. And he rose and went, and behold, an Ethiopian, a eunuch, a minister of the Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, in charge of all her treasure, had come to Jerusalem to worship, and was returning, seated in his chariot. He was reading the prophet Isaiah. The Spirit said to Philip, go up and join his chariot. So Philip ran to him and heard him reading Isaiah the prophet and asked, do you understand what you are reading? And he said, how can I, unless someone guides me?
Now,
and he invited
continue, please.
And he invited Philip to come up and sit with him. Now, the passage of the scripture which he was reading was this: as a sheep led to the slaughter, or a lamb before its shearer is dumb, so he opens not his mouth. In his humiliation, justice was denied him. Who can describe his generation? For his life is taken up from the earth. And the eunuch said to Philip, about whom, pray, does the prophet say this? About himself or about someone else?
That's enough. That's enough, Brother Sebide. And thank you. Now, let me start from verse 26, if you will allow me, gentlemen and ladies. Why does Philip rise up and run to the south? Okay? Without asking any question. Has he understood? So has Philip understood, or he is doing it in reverence? Now, the first thing that I would like to demonstrate here is that many people do assignments that they do not understand, but they have been commanded to do so. So I would like to warn parents and bosses and supervisors that you have to understand the relationship between the angel and Philip, because the text begins by saying that, but an angel of the Lord. Now, this phrase, angel of the Lord, is authoritative, is authority. It is important for us to understand that many of us are doing things because authority has directed us to do so. And seldom do we even take time to question the orders that have been given to us. Well, in the defense of Philip, since he's not here, he could say he had an experience with the angel of the Lord. This was not the first time, neither was it the first assignment, but we are using this event as an example. I am asking you, do you understand the commands that you implement? Have you ever questioned your mission that you are commissioned by? And here I'm not even asking you to question the commissioner. I am asking you to question the mission. Do you understand the mission? Because the angel of the Lord, according to verse 26, does not tell Philip that you're going to meet a eunuch. Oh, he did. I missed that. No, he didn't. It was Philip that saw the eunuch. So we don't know whether the angel of the Lord had commissioned Philip to this eunuch, and that was the mission, or the eunuch was on the way to the mission, and in one way or another became part. Because when you read in the Bible, you might think that the angel sent Philip to this eunuch, but maybe it was a coincidence. The eunuch was taking the same route with the mission route. But these questions we don't ask when we are reading the Bible, because we are believers, and that is what I am after. I am after the ideology of saying that these things you don't need to understand, don't put in too much wisdom, you just have to believe. Is it a wise thing to do for Philip to just walk and go without asking? Because we have examples in the same Bible where an angel of the Lord comes, commissions someone, and then someone asks questions. Do you remember the discussion between Moses and I am on the burning bush? So, do you see the difference? Because Moses wants to understand before he attempts and engages in the mission. Philip doesn't seem to seek an understanding of the mission. Maybe we need to read the whole chapter of 8 and we see what was the mission. But I've said all this on Philip, according to verse 26. Only looking for one thing. There are things that you are doing nowadays, and there are things that you've been doing ever since you were born. It could be a culture, it could be an ethnic trait, It could be a professional thing that you're doing. Have you ever sought to understand why you do what you do? Do you know why you as a Muganda lady, your tradition commands that you kneel when you are giving anything to elders and to your husband? Have you ever sought to understand? Or you know as a Muganda that you must kneel? Because the two are different. There's a difference between saying, Nze ndi Muganda n'olwekyo nfukamira, I am a Muganda, therefore I kneel, and another Muganda saying, I have to kneel because I understand why I am kneeling. The two are different. So most of us are like Philip. We are commissioned, commanded, therefore we do. Our religions commission us and command us. Our ethnic groups and traditions commission us and command us. Our professional environments, workplaces commission us and command us. Our social media and internet and trending culture commissions and commands us, and we never seek to understand why we do what we do. We only know what we are doing, because there's a difference between knowing what you are doing and understanding what it is. Now, verse 29 says, while he was running to the south, it says, and the Spirit said to Philip, go up and join this chariot. So Philip ran to him and heard him reading Isaiah the prophet and asked, do you understand what you are reading? Now, this question is very interesting. I have done, moderator, have we done the series on Bible questions?
No, I don't think we have.
Peter, haven't we done those series?
Bible questions. Oh, I think we did a long time ago.
I think we need to do them again.
Mm.
Yes, you register that. Now this question is very interesting. It is not a question about knowledge and reading. Those two, the eunuch has. So basically, this question is questioning, because this one is not an ordinary man. No, there is an introduction about this man. And it is important that we understand who this man is. According to verse 27, and behold, an Ethiopian, number one, comma. Now, Ethiopian is part of the cradle of the African continent civilization. So there's a reason why an Ethiopian is registered here. You need to understand that this guy is from Ethiopia, one of the ancient civilizations, okay? And he's a eunuch. And I wish I had time to talk about a eunuch. Number two. Number three, a minister. This one is a minister of the Candace, the queen of Ethiopia. Okay? Okay, in charge of all her treasure. So this one is not an ordinary person that we are talking about. We are talking about a dignitary, educated, and a leader. Now, how dare you ask such a person whether they understand? And he's a reader. The reason as to why he's a reader, it is because he parted with so much money to own a scroll, a Jewish prophetic scroll. He paid so much money. Why? You cannot own a Jewish scroll when you're a Gentile. You can't. Scrolls are protected, number one. Number two, you have to pay, first of all, for your Gentileness, if there's an English word like that. After you've paid that, you qualify. After you've qualified, you have to pay the temple, number two, to register to get a scroll. Number three, you have to pay for someone who is going to transcribe for you so that you can have a copy. So this guy has gone through a lot to own a scroll. So he's educated, he's a leader, he's a dignitary, and the question to him is, do you understand? And this is a very interesting question to ask all of us, starting with myself. Do I understand even what I'm saying? Number two, those of you who are listening to me, do you understand what I'm saying? Number three, we are all readers. We have social media, we have the internet. It is all packed with written things. You only open one page of the internet and there are other 10 to 15 pages to open on the same issue. Now the question, yes, you can read. Yes, you have a degree. Yes, you're a leader. The question is, do you understand? This question is telling us that you can be all that. You can be all that, okay, without an understanding in a particular subject that you are face to face with. So the question of Philip to this leader is, yes, the reading you are okay. Owning a scroll, that is all right. Do you understand it? Everyone has the Bible. Now that it is Monday, it is even on your phones. You can even read a verse. It is your Bible. It is in English, or it is in iTiS, okay? Or it is in Runyankole, or it is in Luganda, or it is in Kisi, or it is in Luo. I don't mind. Do you understand what you are reading? It is the question. So the question is here to tell us that it is very possible, okay, for a knowledgeable person not to understand. And this is why we encourage, and I keep asking people, do you understand? I am not asking whether you know. No, I am asking whether you understand. To understand, for instance, in communication, to understand a communication is to meet the meaning, not the content.
Meaning versus content.
Yes, because content is for hearing. But there must the communicator wants you to understand what they mean, not what they are saying. This is why it is very important for those who are interested in understanding to always ask not what people are saying, but you should ask what they mean. Because the greatest hurdle of communication is that people do not know how to communicate meaning in their communication. In most cases, they imply it. It is therefore your responsibility to work hard, because understanding is hard work, to work hard to ensure that you have understood the meaning. But everyone gets the content. For instance, I can post, okay, on my status. For those of you who have my contact, and then I post on my status and say, my son has died. Now let me ask you, what do you do when you read that status? Someone tell me what you would do if you read a status that says my son has died. Okay, no one is here to respond. But let me give you another example. There, in journalism, there is a genre. I think that they call them genres also, which they call tabloids. You remember those tabloids, eh? I understand, FB, but when you're laboring to make people understand, you use all tools. Now, okay. But here's the thing. Do you remember when there's a paper here in Uganda, Bucket Day? They used to have those headlines that say, the president has killed his daughter. And then you are attracted because of that to read, isn't it? And you read the story, how the president killed the daughter, and then at the end they tell you that was in a Nigerian movie called Kill the Daughter. but initially you came, you are attracted to read the story because you had a president in your mind and a daughter to that president in mind, isn't it? Yeah. But some fools who are not willing to understand will popularize that it was even recorded in the paper that the president killed who? Killed his daughter. Hey, then they'll start on, the fools will start putting on names. Natasha is dead. The president killed his daughter. Or if you are in Kenya, Ruto's daughter, you put there Ruto's daughter's name. If Ruto has daughters, I don't know. Or wherever you are. So it is important for you not to just hear, but to listen. Okay? And when you listen, to make sure that you are listening, and the goal of listening is to seek meaning, not audio or audio visual. The goal of listening is to seek meaning. If you haven't gotten the meaning, you have not understood, you have heard, and you are justified to say that I know that he said this and this, but I don't know what he meant. In other words, you're saying, I don't understand. But all said and done, do you guys understand? Thank you, moderator.
I've understood. I don't know about the others. Does anybody have a follow-up question? Those who came late were answering the question. What does it mean to understand? Or like Peter asked, to be understanding. I think that's the question we're attempting. So if you just joined in, you'll catch the recording, hopefully, and come back with questions. So any follow-up questions to this particular one? Unfortunately, Peter has dropped off. I don't know which part of the world is in, where his network is so poor like that. Anyway, okay. Does anybody have a question here? that we can attempt. We have about, okay, it's a 6:45, so we have 1 hour and 15 minutes. Anybody have a question? The silence here is too loud.
Yeah, but I can ask. Meanwhile, as I prepare also to attempt other people's questions, I can also ask.
Yeah, maybe you ask.
Is there any justifiable reason for you to get back with your ex?
Mm. Mm.
Jed,
Yes, Pay, do you want to answer?
sorry, I was trying to, when you're asking any other question, when no one was responding, but it's okay now since we have one.
Okay, you ask yours. Ask yours as well. We shall attempt.
Mine
Right after
was
it.
on, when Isaiah was presenting, I also got something that that triggered my mind, which is, it's unrelated, but then the question is, in life, what matters? Is it the process? Is it the goal? Or it's the impact that you create by doing something?
That's an interesting question.
Now we have two interesting questions, and
That's an interest. I think let's first handle Peterson's, Isaiah. Then we save yours for the last few minutes, because I know where yours is going to lead us. Let us first deal with Peterson. So, Peterson, your question is, I think it's in
We have
line
a
of the end
process.
justifying the means.
Yeah, we have a process. We have people who achieve goals through a process. We have people who just achieve the results are there. If you ask him the process, for him, he will tell you the results. Then we have an impact, because whatever we do to maybe create an impact. Of course, that's at an advanced level. But then of all these three, which one do you think matters most? The one who has been trying, but then there's no result. The one who has his results, or the one who has created an impact.
Moderator,
Isaiah,
can
you
I
want to go first?
Yes,
Yeah.
I can, unless if there's someone who wants to go first, but I'm here.
No, you go. You go.
You see, moderator, two things.
Mm.
There's a saying, it is a street saying, that you cannot argue with success.
You cannot argue with results, some say.
With results, eh? Fine, okay. You can't argue with results. Eh? There's that saying. Eh? And for me, what that saying means is, if we are discussing a car, all right? We are only going to give a microphone to those who have a car. If you don't have a car, please do not tell us about a car. Because we are discussing results. We don't care whether you are an engineer or do you have a car? Answer.
No.
Shut up. Because this guy has the car. It is either you have the money or you don't have the money. Peterson and Francis are financial teachers. And Jethro, the last time I checked. But do you have money? As in real money?
No.
Then shut up. You know nothing about money. You don't have money. I am not trying to bastardize you can't argue with the results, but I want you to think. So the educated Francis and Peterson should shut up when Chirumira is around.
And Sudis.
And Ham. Because you see, Francis and Peterson do not have a book on the street, but Ham has a book on the street that is always carried by full figure. Which book I read, and it is 75% senior for commerce. And a few left and right chicken.
Isaiah, quick question. Mpulira. Kakati, in case mpulirizaani ku muntu alina obufumbo nga mpanzemu emyaka 3 n'omusumba atali mufumbo nga awa amagezi nga mpa amagezi. Omusumba aba alina experience ya byasoma oba? I'm trying to get now from your submission.
That is where we have.
That's the question you're answering, Bob.
Hey, that's why we have started, Bob. You just have to stop hearing and start listening. Because if you are not married, okay, and someone else is married, who should be talking about marriage? The married. Why? Because you can't argue with the results. But now the question is it true that whoever is married can help you in marital affairs because they are married?
No.
Exactly. So Pedson, your first category, I have handled your first category. Is it the result, the process, or the what? Because you mentioned 3 things, moderator, remind me. There's the process, the product, and the impact.
The impact, you call it impact.
Pedson, have I represented you right?
Yes, the impact.
So now that we have seen the power of the product, because not everyone with the product can help you appreciate or actually even achieve the same product. Because we know how many of us get to the products that we have and we are celebrating. You cannot be inspired by a beautiful graduating girl. You can ask her lecturers on how she got some grades. So yes, you can't argue with the results, but I insist, sometimes we should argue with the results. So what matters most? Do the results matter? Yes and no. Yes and no. Sweet. Yes and no. That's number 1. Number 2. Ojja kunnyumyako neewamwe nti waliyo omunyarwanda y'okuzungu. Now, number 2. Number 2. The process matters, but only to those with a purpose in life. Can I say that again? The process matters only to those with a purpose in life. So the process doesn't matter at all if you have no purpose in life. I mean, if your desire is to get rich, the process doesn't matter. Get rich and be choked with wealth. It doesn't matter how you get rich. Just get rich. The goal is to get what?
Get rich.
Get rich.
Get rich quick or die trying.
Yes, get rich quick or die trying. Now, that's not a purpose. Getting rich is not a purpose. I would like to warn each and every one of you. It's not. So people should stop intimidating you. Process matters. Process matters. No, process matters. In fact, even in factories, if the purpose is a cup, the machines are purposed to the product. They are patterned after the product that they are aiming at, the cup. You can't tune the machines in a Benson way and then expect a cup. No, Bensons will be being thrown out. So the process doesn't matter to everyone, ladies and gentlemen, because I see people tiring many people. Some people do not even have a purpose and they don't even know it. Do not exhaust them with the process. Let them be. Because I've forgotten this guy. Forgotten his name. The guy who invented this bulb, this light.
Thomas Edison.
Yes.
Thomas Edison.
Yes, Edison. Though it is even still contended. He tried 9,999 times and succeeded on the 10,000th time to make it lit. Now, a journalist asked him, how do you feel after failing 9,999 times? And then Thomas looked at this journalist and told him that the 9,999 times are not times that I failed, but they are ways that I learned not to do, not to use, not to apply if I want such a product. Now, I can assure you, anyone without a purpose cannot fail those times and do it again. So for Thomas Edison, failure was a process because for him it was a purpose. So person, when you tell people that process, please, let us follow the process, and they are inconvenienced by the process, get to know that these are not people of purpose. Process makes sense to people with a purpose. It only makes sense to people with a purpose. Only those with a purpose will even control themselves, not to use their talents, not to use their power, not to engage all that they can do. I teach a God who decided to become a creature, be slapped and spit upon by creatures, be dragged. He even had to go to the toilet. A God had to go to the toilet. He is eternal. He had to withdraw that eternity and become mortal. He obeyed the process because he had the purpose of serving we his idiots. And he hung on the cross naked. Now, no one does that with all power. The guy had all the power. But because of the purpose, all the power could be suspended and had to be suspended. And it was. Peterson.
Otherwise, the guy could have just removed the sin.
Like that. Yeah, like that. You just snap your finger. There's no sin. I don't want any sin and I don't want it. And then people would say, you are not just, you stop breathing. You also die. He had all the power to kill all his accusers and have a new creation which cannot even accuse. Or, okay, who would accuse him after seeing what he did to others? But he had a purpose. And his purpose was to save people and to make sure that these free will beings are going to be in a relationship with him willingly. So there's a process to that. You have to become like them and die helpless. So people with a purpose sacrifice even their potentials and their abilities and their powers to make sure that they achieve their purpose. But most of us, because we are not a generation of purpose, no, we are a generation of fast foods. Everything is in a rush. That's why we have fast food, fast what, fast everything, fast. Even our movies are fast and furious. We are not a generation of purpose. No, we are not. We don't cook. We freeze our food. Then we take it from the refrigerator, put it in the microwave, and eat it. We don't have time. Our data is not purposeful. Our speech, we are not purposed even in what we say. We are not people of the process. No, we are not. We are a generation of what works and works fast towards the result. And the result must be determined by us, not by the process. So please do not tire people with the process, especially those who do not have any purpose in life. And those are the majority. Then finally, impact, isn't it? How many followers must you have on social media to get a blue tick?
Does it matter?
No,
Hmm?
no, blue tick on Twitter, you just pay for it.
Okay.
But when you have a million followers, automatically you get a blue tick.
Okay, fine. Now there's an alternative of paying for it, and there's alternative of getting 1 million followers.
Then automatically you get it.
Then you get that. Okay. Now, do you know the criteria of being hosted on a radio talk show or on a TV show?
I think you pay, don't you pay?
Yeah, you can buy airtime, or you can buy airtime and you're hosted. Like, have you seen how when the Prime Minister comes on Tuesday, barometer? There, barometer, they're supposed to be the Rome Shanas, but on Tuesday, Prime Minister can buy that airtime and then they host her.
Then there's also another way. If you have many followers on social media, you can be hosted.
Yes, they call you.
They call you, and then you are hosted. Brilliant.
Yeah, actually, there they can end up paying you because they need you.
Because they need you. You can even be paid because you have that number. Which club signs players? Since Pedson is here and Jethro and who else and Francis. The rest I don't know whether they support football or they are just fellow. They are other women in trousers. So which club signs players based on your following on social media? PSG has a criteria, Pedson. It is in their scouting department. Before we sign you, we must also look at your social media following. Yes, because that is going to add value to the club. It is a strategy to that. Now, how many people in Kampala and Wakiso have not had the name full figure? Because Kampala and Wakiso daily, they have a population of 10 million. And I can assure you, out of those 20 million, 7 have had the name full figure. That is if 7 have smartphones. Or they have TV sets at home. With these decoders of Star Times, which other decoders that look like the Technophone?
Go TV.
Go TV is Samsung, but there are other. There are these decoders, Wasafi. I don't know whether it is Wasafi or what. Then All those people with those decoders. Zuku, Zuku. I've seen full figure. Now, can anyone argue that full figure is not impactful? You are not sensible if you argue that this full figure has no impact. Full figure has impact. Now, the problem with impact is that impact impacts people so much that it does not allow them to investigate the quality of that impact. Has anyone understood what I'm saying?
The impact impacts them.
So much that it doesn't give them any opportunity or any chance to question the quality of that impact. And that is how the cult of celebrity, the iconic cult, has been born. Impact. It is like an explosion. Boom. And it is only those experts in ballistics who will come later after that explosion and then start investigating the impact of that. But those who were around and the victims will just go ahead alarming, it was impactful, it was impactful, but how? If you ask them how, they will tell you, boom, did you hear the sound? Boom. So, moderator, what matters is not the magnitude of the impact. It is the quality of the impact. What impact do you have? And I will give you an example, and I will pause here. A guy came on planet Earth and found a rabbinical order. The rabbinical order was that there was always a master who has followers. And these rabbis in Palestinian Crescent had qualifications. For someone to qualify to be a student of a rabbi had to be taught and qualify and pass exams so that they can go out there and consider themselves as a student of Rabbi so-and-so. That's why when they're introducing Paul in the New Testament, they say he sat at the feet of Gamaliel. Now, that is not because he had a good teacher. No, it is because he was also a good student, because Gamaliel could not allow you sit before him if you were dense. Now, a guy came. Instead of looking at those top-notch students, he looked for fishermen. He started walking on the streets, helping people. And everyone started talking about him. And the rabbis started looking for this guy from Nazareth, Galilee. And they always came at night to have conversations with him. Now, the rabbis were impactful. But I want to tell you, this new Galilean on the street was the impact itself, because he impacted the impactful. As we speak today, the impact of Jesus of Nazareth has lived on. And the rabbinic order is still there. But the impact of Jesus of Nazareth, the one who died on the cross naked and resurrected, is still on. I call that impact. Impact. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you, Musumba. Again, those who are not following, we're answering the question from Peterson. He asked about process versus results, which is more important. Is it the process or is it the results? And then he also threw in impact. Or should we just look at impact? We can ignore the process and the results, but then the impact. So that's a question we are attempting. Does anybody want to say something about that?
The process versus
Yes. The results and then the impact. Yes, Francis.
Yeah, I'd like to say just something slight about it. From the political science point of view, in political science, of course, we look at the art of leadership. In leadership, talking about leadership, the politics of leadership, the led and who leads. That's one of the questions which have been asked by different political philosophers. And the one who says that the purpose is what's important, or the end is what is important, is Machiavelli Niccolo, the Italian, who claimed that the ways, that's the process you use to achieve what you want to achieve is not what matters. It's what you want to achieve that matters in the end. That's what he says. And he says that you can use the most crude process to get the result you want. And you can create a very negative impact on the environment, on all people around you, to get whatever you want, as long as you get that purpose. And that is Machiavelli. And of course, Machiavelli is the proponent of dictatorship, the stick and the carrot. Actually, Machiavelli tells you that you should try to use the stick, you should try to use a peaceful, cunning process of giving to the people who are around you or you find on your path. But if these people refuse to take that bait, you should crush them, the stick. So that's the proponent of dictatorship. And he's one who says that the end is only what matters. Then the different proponents of the liberals, the liberals and the Democrats. There are many spread all over the field. Those ones are very many. And for them, they claim that they both are very important. But they say that the process is, however much you have a good purpose, the process is more important than even the purpose. That if you want society to develop, if you want people to develop financially, to develop socially, the way you present your programs to them, the way they elect who is going to lead them is more important than even the end. Okay, for them, they're saying that even if you choose a leader who is not efficient, but is chosen through the right process, that leader is better than an efficient leader who is a dictator but will lead them to a Kagame is worse than an incompetent president chosen through a democratic means. So those are the proponents of the democracy, because democracy favors the process more than the end. So long as the person is chosen by agreement of everyone, even those who don't have the capacity to think and to choose, the process is more important. That's democracy. Then, of course, we have different schools of political science of thought, which are called the realists. Realists are the ones who lie in between there. They're saying that both are very important. You can preach and compromise the process so long as you to benefit. So the realists, many times they come in between as a compromise between the end and the means. To me, I would think that they are both important, but even when it comes to the Pedison who asked the question, actually, we come from the same field.
Am I the only one who have lost him?
In finance, in financial of the the quality of the purpose is also very important, because let's not just talk about the purpose, but the quality of the end is also very important. Because many people have a goal, or have goals, or have a dream which is not well defined, or which is poorly defined. Yet many times the way you define your goal or your purpose is going to determine your process. So I just want to give it another angle whereby even I'm not looking at even the importance. I'm saying that they're both important. The process is as equally important as I'm a realist. It is as equally important as the purpose. But even looking at the purpose, the quality of the purpose is very you shouldn't have any goal. You must clearly define your goal. Otherwise, your process is going to be haphazard. The moment you poorly define your goal, you are going to have a haphazard process to begin with. So in financial intelligence, we tell people that if you have a goal, I've had clients who come for consultation, and the person's goal, one time I had a client, about 4 years back, I had a client who came to me, and their goal was to make as much money as possible. Okay, their goal was to have wealth which is worth 5 billion Uganda shillings. That was their goal. Now, that's a very haphazard, poor quality goal. You can't have a goal of money as an end, because money cannot be an end in itself. Money is supposed to serve a certain purpose. So we have to sit down with this client, and then we have to qualify the need for money. And then we discover this person actually needs, at most, he needs 1.5 billion in resources for his life to reach the desired goals, or to reach his dream. So the quality of the purpose is, it should be questioned. Not just have, people shouldn't just wake up and have a particular purpose and then in a weird way define their purposes. And that's what over 95% of people do in this world. We wake up and then sometimes we benchmark our purposes on existing purposes without having any uniqueness or any personality to our purpose. Because my father, because my uncle, because our neighbor had so much wealth, I should also have that wealth. Or I should also, because their life looked good, and this guy had one wife, or had 2 wives, or had 3 wives, I'm also going to have 3 wives, without questioning the quality of that purpose. So when answering that question, we should all look at the quality of the purpose, because the quality of that purpose is going to determine how haphazard you are going to be in, how intentional or haphazard you're going to be in the pursuit of the purpose, which is the process. So I would submit and say that the purpose, and I'm not going to look at impact, I will just talk about the two. The purpose and the process are equally important from a realist perspective. But I'm saying also that because the other two extremes are very questionable, they have their issues. But I'm also saying that the quality of the purpose, I won't go into the detail of the process, but even the quality of the process they are equally as important, because they're going to determine the impact you have and how well or how poorly you treat the environment around you, and maybe how well you enjoy. By the way, when you're trying to be rich, or when you're trying to have a good life, the process, the fun is in the process. The fun is in the process. If you can't even have the fun in the process and you're just looking at the end only, then you're going to miss the big picture. Because you may even die along in the process, and you won't even have any bits of enjoyment you pick from the process, because you're only looking at the end. So yeah, they're equally as important.
Thank you. Thank you, Francis. Pitson, have we helped you?
Yes. I'm learning.
Okay, perfect.
But then maybe just from like what Francis has submitted, yes, the process is very important. But then now, how about the time factor? Because some processes can even take longer than expected. How do you now look at the time factor, knowing that we're not here forever. We have a fixed time to operate in, and then you have to go through a process.
Okay. Is that for Francis specifically? Since he was the last one to tell me. Francis, how about time? Why should I get rich in my 70s when I can't even enjoy the money?
Yeah, actually, time is like I say that in my first submission, I said that realism compromises both process and realism. It twitches a bit of the process and twitches a bit of the end. Because sometimes, let me give an example. You may want to live a certain life, quality of life, which may be at maybe 90%. And then you discover that under the current process, the probable and the most opportune process is going to take you maybe 20 years to create the wealth or the resources which can help you live that life. And then you are 50, you make the realization when you're 50. Yet, if you lower your expectations, that is the end, if you lower the end or the goal or the purpose, you can achieve it maybe in 5 years. So realism tells you that if the process is going to be too long, and by the time you finish the process, you won't be in position to enjoy the end very well. You are allowed to twist your goal or your purpose so that it's achievable in a shorter period of time. That is realism. So even time is important. That's why I say that there are two extremes. The extreme of purpose, the extreme of purpose, those are the Machiavellianists. Then the Democrats and the liberals, they look at the process more. But the realists, and I'm one, we say that then you can twist both to make sure that you can twist both. Like you can say that, okay, instead of accumulating 1.5 billion, let me accumulate 900 million Uganda shillings, so that this one, which is attainable in 5 years, so that I have ample time to enjoy the resources which I've accumulated, instead of waiting for 20 years from now. And by the time you like, if for example I wait for 20 years, I'm 46 now, I'll be 66, and my bones and body won't be in position to enjoy the wealth which I would have created, as well as I would have enjoyed maybe 5 years from now when I'm 51. So I'll twitch my goals so that my goals come down a little bit, so that I can achieve them in a shorter period of time. So to answer you, Pedison, time is also very important to realists. You can twitch your purpose so that it comes a little bit slower in a shorter period of time, which makes more sense to you.
Moderator.
Okay, yes, Isaiah.
You see, I agree with Francis, and we only differ in our definition of purpose. And I would like to use his example of the client that he handled, so that we all understand where I come from. He had a client who wanted over 5 billion as net worth. And Francis asked him, then what? And then he told him that then happy. Then Francis told him, you won't achieve if the purpose, because okay, let me use that example exactly. Between happiness and 5 billion, which of the two is the purpose, according to you guys?
Happiness.
Happiness is the purpose. So
happiness is the purpose, yeah.
Exactly. And that is why Francis advised him that you drop that nonsense of 5 billion. If we are looking at happiness, 1.5 or 1.8 or 2 billion is enough. Now, gentlemen, as far as I'm concerned, making money is not a purpose. It is not. So, in the time you have, make all the money that you want, because your desire is money. Make all the money that you want. And if you are making money, make money Don't bring a pulpit in a money-making environment. Has anyone understood what I'm saying?
Don't bring a pulpit in a money-making environment.
Yes, your shop is not a church. You at the shop, make money. In the time that you have, make money. Or decide that you are going to serve your purpose. Because I can tell you guys, serving your purpose will cost you 90% of the materialistic wealth that you need. Okay. And the Greek philosophers, those who inspire our academics, like Plato, Socrates, etc. Are those not the name that inspire our academics? Seruvide. Those are the names. Okay. So how many of those were rich?
None.
Why?
As I remember.
Why? And yet they were wise. So first of all, most of us do not know our purposes. And for me, that battle is lost. So let us not waste time. You make money. Make money, make money. Make money in what you call the moral way. Make money in the shrewd way. Luke chapter 16, make money. Because I know most of you Christians, you go in the industry of making money and you start reading the Bible and quoting Bible verses. What is wrong with you? That is demonic. It is demonic. Why are you quoting Bible verses? You make money. You are there to make money, not to quote Bible verses. Has anyone read Luke chapter 16? Where God is teaching about the shrewd steward? Because it is like most of you come to us with the Bible teachers and we whom you call your pastors, you come to us so that you can get a justifying verse to use to make money. Are you a fool? There is no magic here. You go in the marketplace and make money as a Christian because you are there to make money. Do you even know your purpose? You don't know. What is before you? Make money. The Bible says everything that your hand says to do, do it with all your might, for you do not have any time here. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, go in the marketplace and make money. I do not minister and I don't want to pastor cowards in the marketplace. Because Christians are failures in business and their excuse is that ours is not this world. Ours is heaven. Which heaven? You are not going to heaven. The Bible says, I create a new heaven and a new earth. You are a permanent citizen of the earth, not of heaven. Before death and after death. In this life and the afterlife, you are a citizen of the earth. So for those of you who want to discover your purpose, you can look for intelligent people to help you find your purpose and serve it. And you see where it gets you. And you see whether your children will go to school because you are serving your purpose. Now, that is the realist me. That is why Francis is political when he says, you twitch the process so that you fit the time. How do you twitch the process, Francis? Tell us.
I said you twitch the process. You twitch the process by not doing what is morally right, maybe. Because if the people who go for process only, the liberals who go for process only say that you should do what is morally right only.
Thank you.
But then sometimes what's morally right is going to take a very long time and it's going to cause you a lot of pain. So you twitch the morals and the time, and make sure that you enjoy the process in a short period of time. Yeah.
Exactly. That is why me as your pastor, I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it is not a sinful desire to be rich. Because I know my fellow pastors have told you, if you desire to be rich, you are heathen and you are not spiritual. No, you are actually very spiritual. So if your desire is to be rich, please make all the money that you can.
So I have a question.
Quickly.
When you say do something that is not moral, I'm trying to understand that. Maybe someone can give an example here, because there's what you would see someone breaking the laws to get money, but then in breaking the laws, that's still like their future or whatever the consequences of that. They have to think through that. For example, I can't say that morally it's not good to kill, but because this guy has money, let me kill him and I take that money. Or he's my competitor.
Let me give you an example.
Maybe
Yes,
I got
let
it
me
wrong.
give you an example. Let me give you an example. Francis mentioned Machiavelli. Machiavelli said that if you want to get power, have the right team on your side. Work with that team. Get power. But once you get power, cut off the heads of all the team members that helped you get into power. And he was asked, why? And he answered, to maintain the goal. What is the goal? Get power, keep it. Therefore, get rid of all those who threaten your keeping of the power that you have gotten together with them. Get rid of them. And that is what happens in politics. It is called the Machiavellian policy. That is how people get power. So, dear Christian, are you willing to cut off the heads of those who supported you in your campaign? Your answer is no. Do not involve yourself into politics, as simple as that, and forget about political money.
No, but I want to rule for my 2 terms and leave. I don't want to cling on power.
You are not a politician. You are thinking like an ordinary foot soldier. You don't know what power is.
Can I give another example also?
Yes.
Yes,
Let me give an
Francis.
example from those who drive in Uganda. If you drive in Uganda and then you make a traffic mistake before a traffic officer and you are time bad, for those who are going for the process, for the purpose, the end justifying the means, you'll find that someone will just wave off the traffic guy and will drive away anyway, because they have to make it in time. The ones who follow the process, the moralists, they will stay and they will wait for the traffic officer to give them the tickets, the whatever violation ticket, and then they'll go on and pay it and lose all that money and time. Then the realists will twitch the morals, and then they'll pay off. For example, for a felony where you were supposed to pay, you pay maybe 120,000, 200,000. They'll give the traffic officer 5K or 10K quickly, and then get back on their way. So in that way, they will not have run away from the crime for future, maybe greater punishment, but they would have paid maybe the officer a small amount of money instead of paying the 200,000 or 120K. That is realism. That's realism.
Yes, thank you, Francis. Because there is no way, you Christians who pretend and carry your Bibles to your offices and those verses, I don't know which pastors teach them to you. that actually become a hurdle in your development economically are the very Christians who have made these traffic officers rich. So those double standards should stop. They should stop, number one. Number two, now that we are saved by grace through faith alone, not by our works, please, while we are still here on earth, please make money. Nange sagala bwavu, sagala na kusumba bantu bavu, mbega yiride munesonyiwe. Ah. Make money. Make money and make it in time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I think we will probably not finish this, but I think we've done justice for Pedson, especially us. We have about 23 minutes to go. Isaiah, your question is a long one. I wish we could attempt it.
How do you know it is a long one? Maybe someone else.
But first, I wanted us to sort out Colin Zodero about yesterday's presentation. I don't know that you've seen the question in your inbox, but also in the chat from here.
Oh, no.
He's asking about yesterday's imprecatory beliefs. So I think it's important while it's still hot that we respond to him. And then on Thursday during our social topic, I think we can attempt yours, Isaiah. Isaiah asked about under what circumstances should you get back to with your ex? Okay. I think that's an important question, which I think we can save for Thursday social topic. But let's help the gentleman who at least followed the presentation. Yes. So have you seen his question? Let me just read it out.
Okay, I was reading it. Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, just read it.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, please.
Oh, okay, today I have a question. It stems from yesterday's presentation on imprecatory beliefs. After listening to the presentation, I came to understand that God's intent is to do us good. If that be the case, then why did Elijah resort to kill innocent prophets of Baal in the name of that God leaving 450 women widows? Isn't that debauchery? Did God acknowledge that heinous act? Did he become a hero for that act? And what can we learn from that episode? Okay, secondly, how about the same God opening the ground to kill those who worshipped an idol and spared Aaron? Okay, Moderator, I would like to give other people space to answer Colin Zodero, but for me, I am only going to say two things. Number one, Elijah was a member of the Judaism cult and serving a cultic god known as Yahweh. And I'm sure Colin Zodero has been following us. By now he knows what I mean. Thank you, moderator. Others can go ahead.
These verses we are supposed to quoted do not refer to the God. That's what I hope I've understood.
Because moderator, I am struggling alone, and it is almost being to be tagged as the theology of Isaiah, which I denounce. To tell people that what you be careful with the Bible, because I have always lamented here, the Bible is not like the Quran. The Bible is a literature piece. It is communicating in a literature way. And, and it's good I have here a professor of literature. They will tell you what it means, unfortunately dropped off, what it means to communicate in a literature way. Have you ever heard about a guy called Shakespeare? At least most of us have heard about that guy Shakespeare, isn't it? How many of us understand what Shakespeare says? Forget about his English, you can use the dictionary. But whether you use the dictionary or not, how many of us understand what Shakespeare was saying? Because the guy has over 60 discourses. And he was communicating to leaders, communicating to farmers, communicating to social groups, communicating to women, communicating to men. Do we even understand what Shakespeare said? Only those immersed in literature will understand what Shakespeare was saying. So the Bible is Shakespeare. For instance, we know that the bedroom in which there is Ahab and Jezebel is a bedroom of two gods. It's not a bedroom of a man and a woman. No. It's a bedroom of Baal, represented by Jezebel, and a bedroom of Yahweh, represented by Ahab. It is for that reason that when Elijah meets the chariot of Ahab and his wife, Jezebel, Elijah does not address Jezebel. There's a reason. I know Collins Odero is a pastor and a theologian for that matter. He will understand. He has read that passage where Elijah attacks the convoy of Ahab and stops it. When Elijah attacks that, he addresses Ahab. He doesn't address Jezebel. Why? The crime of Ahab is to marry a god and bring that god into another god. So these are battles of gods. Now, while Baal is a very bad god, as far as those who worship Yahweh are concerned, because Baal is a heathen god, is a demon, is everything. Yahweh is opening ground, and that ground is swallowing people alive. That is Yahweh for you. Yahweh is saying in Isaiah chapter 45 verse 7 that I, Yahweh, cause death and life, darkness and light. I, Yahweh, do all that. Yahweh is displacing an entire country of people to give the land to his own people. Now we know that is not the Christian God, ladies and gentlemen, who comes and hangs bleeding and naked on the cross. These things I have preached and talked about in the God series. Ladies and gentlemen, please go back. You don't have to like me. You do not even have to like my English. Please go and wrestle with my English and listen to those God series. And pick a leaf. The religious and the God, all the religions worship, and all the religions, I start with the biblical religion known as Judaism. Because Elijah kills all those 450 prophets in the name of religion and in the name of killing God. This God has been given a background and a foundation. From Genesis is killing. The most gracious thing that he did in the Pentateuch is to chase Adam and Eve out of the garden, and upon the gates of that garden, he put there a guarding angel with a sword, so that if Adam and Eve attempt to come back to the garden of life, they will be pierced to death. And Yahweh there was very gracious. The next thing we see him doing is cursing Cain. You won't die, but everywhere you go, you'll be chased like a thief and a mad person. That is Yahweh for you. Then the floods. Then the cursing of Noah to his children. All that done in the name of God. By the time we get into the book of Numbers and Exodus, Egypt is destroyed by this God just to save these slaves. Then the slaves that are saved in the wilderness are being killed every day. Either they have violated the Sabbath, or a child has disobeyed a parent and that child is stoned to death in the name of Yahweh. Is that the God that you worship? Is that the same God that comes and dies on the cross? I am not sure Collins Odero means it when he says that I listened. If he listened then, did he hear the part of Jesus Christ and his imprecatory approach? But all religions, including the Seventh-day Adventist, because I know majority here believe are members to that, the Catholic Church, the Islam, the Anglican, all these religions, they worship this Yahwistic God. The God who puts people on discipline, the God who excommunicates and chases people away from him. This is the God. I am here to ask you. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. I am here to ask you, do you worship God, the creator of the universe, the one who became incarnate, died on the cross and resurrected, or you worship Yahweh, the God of Judaism? Do you know why this cult of Jehovah's Witness insists that the name of God is Yahweh and Yahweh is God and Jesus is not God? The Jehovah's Witness realized that Jesus was another God, and I can assure you the Jehovah's Witness, as far as religions are concerned, the Jehovah's Witness are right. Jesus is another God, not the Yahweh. I am sorry to give you this information. I know how many albums you've made in the name of Yahweh, but I need you to understand. Yahweh is a war God. Yahweh is a cult God. He's a religious God. And that is why all these imprecatory psalms and imprecatory beliefs are exercised within the umbrella of that God. That's even the Pentecostals is another religion that is always uttering imprecatory beliefs and prayers. Lord, you disperse our enemies into seven what? Seven ways. Let them fail to see. Let them be blind. We bind. We curse our enemies. Now, are those prayers said in the name of the God who said, forgive your enemies and bless them? Is that the same God? So moderator, really you just provoked me to say all this, but I have just given up. I just want people to go back and listen to the God series, and we find out which God actually do we worship. Which God do we worship? Because the Bible says this is eternal life. John chapter 17 verse 3. This is eternal life, knowing God. Knowing God and him whom you sent. So and like I've already said, whenever we get God wrong, we are likely to get almost everything wrong. Even our prayers, even our worship, even our behavior. Thank you, moderator.
Okay, thank you. I think that answers Colin's question. We have 11 minutes to go. I don't know if you want to attempt your question.
No, you suspended it. Let us, maybe someone has something to say.
Okay, maybe somebody can start us off and then we'll continue the discussion. Isaiah had a question earlier. Under what circumstances would you get back with your ex? Or, okay, maybe not you personally, but what kind of reasons are good reasons for getting back with an ex? Abby. Not today, why?
Alabika ali wamu ne maama tekyagala kubawo.
No.
Yes, Bob. Oma Bob tuyambe.
Oba by the way moderator, FBI ayinza n'okuba kali bwe twogera ali ne X nga talina gamwanga nga waali. Kyokka namugamba mubuulireko nze ndi wano.
Yeah, I think I was reading some highlight news some time back about this actor Jennifer Lopez oba mumumanyi. Yeah, this is a celebrity actor, musician, blah blah blah, who has gone through a series of husbands. Loza buli myaka esatu ng'akyusa, buli myaka ng'esatu ena ng'akyusa. So I think from either late 1990s up to today, gone through a round of about 9 or 10 husbands. And these are marriages, real marriages. Now wasana myaka esatu ne beesuula. But currently, I think from either 2020 there, yaddingana n'omwami omu ku be yasooka okubeera, I don't know that he's called Ben Africa or something like that.
Yaddingana Ben Africa kati.
Yes, baddingana and they are serious.
Naye kati Lopez talina myaka nkaaga.
Era nti era ali ne mukulu munne era. So obwana obuto ndowooza yabuvaako. But yamuddira. So when you brought out this article, this question of saying muntu yaddira atya ex we, I think kisoboka in this world whereby obeera n'omuntu ne mubeerako obusonga obubaawukanya n'odduka n'olowooza nti gy'oddukidde ogenda sangayo ebisinga obulungi, ogenda okwetooloolatooloola nga gy'oddukidde ba Shakibu, ba Diamond, buli omu alina issues ze, ate n'ojjukira nti omuntu gwe walina okusooka ate ye yali more reasonable. So n'osalawo muddingane otambuze obulamu n'oyo, better the devil you know than the angel you don't know. So kisobokera ddala abantu baddayo nga beekubye mu mutima bamaze okomparinga nga balaba nti munnaaye eri gye baasooka ye waali wasingako nga gye bagenza ate bibafuukidde bizibu nnyo. So kisobokera ddala abantu okuddira ba ex baabwe. Naye kino nkireeta in the context of nti ng'ate toli committed elsewhere. Kati waliwo akyogera in that nti omuntu olwedde ali mu bufumbo naye ate secretly n'addira ex. Ekyo kirala. Kye njogerako kye kino nti omuntu oyise through different relationship nga example gye mbawadde eyo Jello n'agamba kati kanzingeko obwange nzireyo ddala ewa ex tutambuze obulamu, something like that. So that is my submission.
Okay, thank you, Bob. All those statistics naraba recently, 70% of abafumba are cheating, they cheat with their exes. They don't necessarily cheat with new people. It's regular. So meaning ex is actually I know
it's a serious matter.
It's a serious matter. Nancha, can you talk? Nancha wanonkwetaga. Anyway, we shall continue the discussion on Thursday.
Ate n'ekirala ex oyo usually yabeera yakumanya nga tonnaba kubeerako bw'oli oba point naye eri taken nti usually abantu abo bwe walobeera nga wasooka okuinteractinga nabo oba bakumanyi ng'okyali kapere nga tolina ky'olina ne bakwagala nga bw'oli.
Yagambye Thursday.
Kale nze Thursday sijja kubeerawo kasa submission yange njikoze.
Thursday.
Ebbi ayogera Thursday oyinza okulooza agenda nakola submission kigenda kubeera mu chat nga kiweereza bwe emoji.
Ajja gikola kati neetaaga kutuga ex we kuba yamuganya okwogera nja mutuga.
Kale mwebale nnyo bannaye.